Hell yeah, and welcome to episode 48 of the Temple Bard podcast with me, Jim Wynn, and Philip Noon. Philip, the Seagull and the King.
The Seagull and the King, Jim. Well, the King is debatable because the King is your King, Eric Cantona.
Yeah, we all decide who our King is, but we were talking about we talked about the Seagulls in town, and then we ended up somehow getting to Eric Cantona and him talking about the Seagulls chasing the trawlers, which you could say is a bit like the ego. The ego's always chasing the thing, so the seagull is following the trawler because it knows there's some sort of instant gratification there behind it in the sardines.
We're all chasing the trawler. So what happened was, at the All-Ireland semi-final.
Yeah.
And
a rare Dublin free semi-final.
Dublin free semi-final. So who was playing? Tyrone and Kerry.
Yeah.
But
my ma's from Tyrone.
what I noticed was, I looked up above Croke Park, and there was just these fucking seagulls. And when I say I mean, there could have been 200, and I'm not messing.
Yeah.
Enough for me to go, fuck. Like, I think seagulls are the pandemic now at the moment. Like, I think seagulls, and they're so brazen, and they're so fucking big.
Yeah.
In Dublin now, we have seagulls the size of small cars walking around the place thinking they own the fucking kid.
Yeah.
Like,
There used to be seagulls, you'd see them in Bray or in Howth or in Dalkey. Now I live up in Sandyford on the side of the mountain, and fucking if I put something down from a barbecue, there's a fucking seagull coming to take
my
it.
mother rang me from Cavan and told me there was seagulls
Cavan
in
is in the
Cavan.
middle of Ireland.
For anybody
you couldn't
who-
get further from the sea.
For anybody who missed geography class, Cavan is an hour and a half from any bit of water. Well, there's a few lakes, but the seagulls.
Yeah.
Cavan.
They're not called lake gulls, lads.
I've seen a few videos on TikTok and things. There's a lot of people starting to latch on to this thing about the seagulls, but it's a pandemic.
Yeah.
It's a pandemic
It's,
in itself.
and when you're gigging in town, you come out in the middle of the night, and I swear to God, there is rubbish. You ever see in New York, you see the rats running through all the rubbish bins and out or everywhere. Like in Dublin city centre, there's seagulls everywhere.
Everywhere.
Actually, I saw a good post about it. Robin McGuinness, who was on the podcast before, shout out Rob. He said that if someone could invent a seagull-proof waste bag, that would be a great invention for
that'd
Dublin.
make millions.
Because if you look in Dublin, like all over the city centre, when you come out like at 2:00 in the morning, there's like literally seagulls spread shit everywhere, all over the whole city.
But I was thinking this the other day at the football match. I was like, are they waiting for everybody to fuck off so they can land down and get food?
Yeah,
I was like,
I'd say so, yeah. And I wonder how much of that has to do with like fish stocks being lowered, so that or the seagull population growth because of something else. So you wonder what the behind it all, I'd say, is some sort of energy shift. But like, what is the form behind it?
But there has to be, like, there's no way this is all happening now. Like, it was okay, they were bad before, but they're just fucking outrageous now.
Yeah,
they're like little bastards.
There's lots of you can see the videos of people who, like, on certain parts, certain beaches in Dublin, people who walk with chips. Like, there's a seagull that'll wait up on a wall, and as soon as someone walks past, it's done it like so many times, it'll go and.
Do you remember it lifted the dog?
Yeah.
Remember the seagull in Dublin lifted a dog and flew off with it? I never thought I'd hear myself say
Stephen Seagull.
Stephen, never thought I'd hear myself say this, but bring back the pigeons. The pigeons were honest.
They give it a bit of that, but they're more bark than bite, really, the pigeons.
I suppose would the human form of a seagull be Donald Trump in all his antics last night? He jumped on.
All I saw this morning was a picture of Cole Palmer. We're talking about the FIFA final of the World Club Championship, if anyone who didn't follow it. But
the Club World Cup.
Apparently there was... so Chelsea won it, surprisingly enough. And Donald Trump was up giving them the trophy, but then he stayed there while they lifted it and jumped in the press. But you know what I was thinking about it? Without coming at it from a I like or dislike Trump thing. If you ever watch American sports, the owners come up and they get the ring. Like, I was thinking this a lot about the culture and how the sports reflect the culture. Like, a lot of American sports are all like, you score, I score, you score, I score, you score, I score. It's all about the individual. It's all about the stats to get into the thing. Whereas football has always been more about the beauty of the game. And I think that reflects the lifestyles. America's a big grind lifestyle where everyone lives to work, whereas Europe is more people work to live. And I think that's reflected in our sports. But if you look at, like, if the Super Bowl, the players go out and fucking knock lumps out of each other for God knows 3 hours or something, and then the owners come up and lift the trophy. Like, what? It's just such a fucking capitalist, like, reflection, isn't it? It's mad, like, it says, oh, you used to go out and kill yourselves. Like, the players get paid great money, but the owners are getting better money.
It's almost like gladiator time. My slaves will beat your slaves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's exactly it. And literally in American sports, most of the best players are black.
Yeah.
So it's like a bit like an echo through history. It's like, and they're all playing for a team owner or a slave owner. It's like, it's an echo through history. It's now they've got more autonomy and more money and stuff, but it's still got an echo from the past. Like, and that's an interesting thing I hadn't thought about before.
I know, neither did I until you just said it now.
Yeah, there you go. Connections everywhere. But yeah, so Donald Trump, when I was seeing him, he probably just didn't know that he wasn't supposed to be there.
I think he just doesn't give a fuck.
He's probably just like, they're cheering. People are cheering. That's for me.
People are cheering, of course.
Yeah, that's for me.
Chelsea, yeah, they're a good team.
Yeah. People are cheering. That's for me. I was talking to the brothers yesterday. No, I didn't watch. I watched the highlights of this Club World Cup, and everyone had PSG to win. But usually when a team blows everyone away for the whole tournament, they rarely win, I find. So I had a feeling Chelsea might win. I didn't watch the game, but they won convincingly, no?
Yeah, they did, yeah. But there was riots and everything at the end of it.
I heard,
Luis Enrique went and slapped João Pedro, and there was tubs.
Yeah. I remember when my missus lived in East Wall there, you couldn't leave anything on the balcony because the Seagulls, that was like just through COVID. And that's when I first noticed, and that's East Wall is like, it's near the sea, but it's not like right beside the sea. That's when I first noticed that there was a lot of seagulls that were past where they used to be. But actually in the law of one, they talk about how, humans are third density going into fourth density, which is where we are like a unified consciousness, but animals are second density going into third density. So they reckon that animals that spend more time near humans are the portions of second density that are closest to third density. So if you know what I mean. So if you like,
I don't know, but I can kind of grasp it. But then, so does that mean that we were animals before this?
Well,
and then we've leveled up. So what's after this?
So what's after? I don't know. First of all, I don't know. But what's after this is social memory complex. That's what they say.
Okay.
But what they say is it's like you're still individualized souls, individualized people, but you have like a hive brain. Like you can see not just people's thoughts, but intentions. So you don't. It's beyond judgment. Like you're past judging people's thoughts.
You can read minds, but you don't judge anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
I would fucking hate that.
That's because you still have judgment of yourself.
I don't want anybody to ever read my thoughts, ever. That would be fucking horrible.
But the thing is, that's because you're looking at through what they're going to judge me on, or But this is when you get to this level, you're past judgment. So it's just like you see that the thoughts aren't yours; that they're just thoughts that come up in certain individuals. So it's like your thoughts, like it's just. But what happens? So I think that. So I think that as we enter that like next level of consciousness, we're coming to that level. Now it's not something that's going to like happen in front of our eyes. It's something that'll happen after we all pass on from this life and we wake up in our next life.
Do you know, like when someone annoys you and you're about to say something and they're like, "No, I won't fuck off."
But it's not even. I don't even think it's that. Because that's close to the mirror stuff.
Yeah,
I think we're back from the mirror now, so it's not like it's beyond judgment. So it's very hard for us to understand at this level. But what they say is like so. Animals that spend a lot of time with humans are generally the ones who are going to come to our level next. So that
like dogs and all, yeah,
like dogs, cats, but maybe seagulls.
I disagree with cats. I think cats are just an anomaly and they're just horrible little bastards.
Well, dogs and cats are duality, like
no. But if you look, a dog wants to be close to you. A cat's like, I own you. And fuck you, feed me. You could almost
say that's the positive and negative polarity, Phil.
Well, drink. The dualities are collapsing.
Yeah. So that's what it means. So people are dog people, and that doesn't mean you're negative.
So
if you like.
Cats and dogs are dualities.
Yeah, like it's a cat and a dog, chalk and cheese. Everything's a duality. Like if there's no duality, there'd just be one. But so like cats are a certain type in general, and then dogs. Although, funnily enough, duality's splitting. I saw someone walking a cat in a leash the other day.
Fuck off.
Yeah. I was coming in the estate where I live, and there was a woman walking across the road, and I was like, that dog's not like that dog's. She's having to drag that dog around, and then she was taking her time, so I was kind of waiting, and I was went, that's a fucking cat. There was a cat on the lead. So the negatives becoming the positive, and the positive becoming the negative. The dog becomes the cat becomes the dog. The man becomes the woman becomes the man. Trans, everything. It's all.
I've been in some nightclubs in Berlin where I've seen men walk other men around on leads.
Yeah?
Yeah,
That's been done for a while.
Berlin's a wild place for that. You go into nightclubs and there's like men and women and women and women and men and men. Berlin is a wild place. But you can just see fellas like on their hands and knees being walked around on leads and all.
Yeah.
Fucking mad.
It's a good example of like our perception of, because like I'd say there's a duality in Germany, like where it's a very kind of, what's the word? Serious culture with like going to work. They like their drinks and all, but their attitude to sex is like so liberal compared to ours. It's a different thing. Like, so they can be like more serious in one way, but more liberal in another way. And it just shows you that like it's all we're only ever comparing anything to our own.
So it's the two extremes of work hard, play hard. You know,
Yeah.
It's like, because listen, I could do a whole podcast on Berlin. I love Berlin because it's mad and it's wild and everybody just fucking does whatever they want. But just when you were saying about their attitude towards sex there, like I think we've spoken about this in the podcast before, you've mentioned it. They have like softcore porn on their terrestrial television. So like their RTE and their BBC, they have like softcore porn on.
I think they're different channels, but yeah, they have. You can watch it like you can watch it kind of any time of the day. There's not like parental. There wasn't in the past. I don't know if there is now, but there's not. It's not. Sex isn't looked at. So
isn't France similar?
I think a lot of Europe is, and also like I remember when I was a kid, you used to run around, like kids would run around naked and you'd go in naked into changing rooms and stuff like that. It was kind of normal. And it's still like that in Germany, whereas now in Ireland you'd never be naked in front of anybody. I think that probably has to do with a lot of scandals from the church and all that.
Well, I did nobody and the rise in fucking camera phones and paedophilia and rings and all this kind of like.
But they have that in Germany as well. But like wherever you go to a swimming pool, there's kids running around naked like all the time. So it's a bit more. And I suppose even that is like what way you look at it. Like it depends if you're fearing like that there's some predator around waiting to strike, well then of course you'll think that's bad. But if you're just thinking of it as like kids are being kids and being free, then it's good. So it really just depends on what you project on.
You know, I have to get your opinion on this because this happened the other night on the Lewis. I was on the Lewis home the other night and there was a guy with a Canon camera around his neck, right? Doing like, you know, like you see like lots of New York street photography, life photography of just people like living life and stuff. And he was like taking pictures and stuff like that, just of people like on the Lewis. And like, okay, he's doing it for himself or whatever, but he wasn't really asking anybody's consent. And I was like, he like took a picture down my direction. I was in the picture and I was like, I don't really know how I feel about that. I was like, but you know, whatever. But then there was a girl asleep across from him. And he took out the camera and he took like 3 or 4 pictures of a girl asleep. And I really didn't like that. Because I was like, she's not consenting to that. She's asleep. And I don't know why he's taking in pictures or anything. So like, I kind of, just when I was getting off, I was kind of down near him. And I was just kind of looking at him. Basically, you know, that's not cool, you know, like that. But I didn't really have the balls it wasn't that I didn't have the balls to walk up and just say to him, I just kind of didn't know if I was in the right or not to walk up and say, you probably shouldn't be taking a picture of someone asleep like that.
Yeah, I could see both, but like, you know, I don't know, I wasn't there, so
I know art is art, right? And I know people can view art in different ways, but he took 3 or 4 pictures of a girl that was just like asleep on a chair, and I was like, because I don't know how she'd feel about that if she woke up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I know if someone took a picture of me when I was asleep and I woke up and I didn't know them, I'd go fucking mad.
Yeah, and it really depends on the person, like I suppose, because I know people who when they put up pictures, even on Instagram, of their kids, they cover their faces. And
and they put like hearts and stuff.
I put Jonah up like fucking on every story I do.
But Jonah's a wee rock star.
Yeah, but it doesn't. But it really like it. I think it's your own choice to do it. So, but that's an interesting one because this fella was doing it like this girl was asleep or people on the train. Like, 'cause I can understand in a way you're trying to capture a moment. Like, so this is me looking from his possible point of view, that he's trying to capture a real moment, not something like contrived. Whereas you're looking at it from, these people haven't said that he could do this. He's just doing it without asking. And I can see both of those things being right.
You see, I didn't. So he took a picture down my way, and I didn't really mind that. I was like, okay, I know people can film in public. I know that kind of stuff. Fuck's sake, when I'm on stage every night, people are making hundreds of videos and stuff during the gig. That's grand. I was like, but that girl that's an intimate moment. She's had a long day at work. She's fucking sound asleep on the Lewis, and your man has a fucking white, like a proper lens, big fucking camera, like taking 3 or 4 pictures of her, and I was like. Because I know when I sleep, I'm fucking awful looking. I'm slobbering and all.
How do you know?
I'm slobbering and all.
How do you know?
I wake up and
how does anyone know that?
No, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
You're just assuming you're horrible looking.
Yeah. But I can
that's
imagine.
you telling a story about yourself that you don't know.
That's probably what I'd be more angry about. I'd be like, did you get a picture of me rotten looking? Did you? But
sleep with his cock in his hand on the Lewis.
We're not cutting that out. That's dead. But yeah, so you know, I think it was the fact that she was just in such a vulnerable position, and so someone taking pictures of her. I was like, I just didn't like it.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it comes down to to me, I would try not. I would just kind of see it as if somebody took umbrage, like even if you had done it or if anyone else did, then that was just meant to be what happens. And like, so he's taking the chance in a way to do it, and the world will respond how it will. And so even maybe he'll do it another day and someone will beat the shit out of him, you never know, like, and or else maybe he'll take a picture that will be a huge picture, and then the person will find that themselves in it and sue him and take all his money. So you can't really, you don't even know. It's like that story, you know, the Chinese farmer who has one stallion to his name that used to plough all his fields, and his stallion runs away, escapes, and his neighbours come up to him and say, well, it's a terrible tragedy, your stallion's gone away. And he says, maybe. And then the next day the stallion comes back with 20 mares, and he gets them all in the stable, and they go, oh, what a blessing, your stallion brought back all these mares. And he said, maybe. And then and then the next day his son is training these new horses. He falls and breaks his leg. He's his only son who helps him out. This is an old farmer. The neighbours come and say, what a terrible tragedy, now your son can't help you. And he goes, maybe. And the next day the army comes constricting all young men who are fit to fight in a war where they'll most certainly die. And they say, what a blessing your son is here. And he says, maybe. So you can't really, in the moment it seems good or bad, but you don't know that it could be good or bad in the future for you. So him taking those pictures, he could end up being on the wrong side of someone who thinks it's a liberty. And probably someone will say it to him at some stage if he keeps doing it like that. But that'll be how it's.
Well, I was going to say it to him, but I didn't know where I stood. Like because I don't know if it's legal or illegal. I felt that it was a bit immoral, but I don't know if it was legal or illegal. So I was like, but I did give him, like, I was looking at him. I was giving him the eyes, like I was
yeah.
I was like, don't do that.
Well, I would say that's the energy bubbling up. So I'd say, well, I don't know, of course, but I would say that at some stage someone probably would come up and say something to him, and then maybe he'll react however he reacts, and then the consequences will be what they are. But I can definitely see your point of view, and I can see why people do it as well. From my point of view, and this is only my point of view, meaning that it's not right or wrong, it's just my point of view. I don't mind anybody filming me at all, because I think we live in first of all, we're the same thing, but I think we live in a place now where everything's filmed, really. So I don't see the problem with it, but that doesn't mean that other people shouldn't. Everyone has their own freedom to see it as they do.
Well, like, you know, but like, let's say it was like your missus and she's asleep on the way home from work, and there's some fella taking pictures of your missus asleep. You're not going to like that.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so that's the. But you see, that wasn't even I suppose what was on my mind the whole trip was the fact that there was a Seagull driving the Lewis, and I think that was
Stephen.
I was like, this cunt's going to crash this.
The Lewis was under siege. Speaking of seagulls and what animals people call pests, you had one of your favourite things ruined.
I don't even want to get into it.
No,
so no, I like.
You don't have to name the places.
No. So I am.
If you haven't heard, Philip likes kebabs.
Yeah,
done exactly how he likes them.
After a few pints, I'm fond of an old kebab every now and again. And last night, my favourite kebab shop in Dublin, I came out. I was having a few drinks in a place near it. I'm not going to name the place because then it'll give away So I come out and there was a rat the size of a Volkswagen Golf with a tail coming out the back door of my favourite kebab shop. And I just said that, like, it it was like finding out Santi wasn't real. You know what I mean? It was just, it's like
instantly ruined it for you.
That was it. And I was like walking down the stairs going, oh, lovely. Just went straight home. And I was so tick going home. And I was like, well, ever eat a kebab again now? Like, I'm like, because surely this happened. Yeah, look, listen, I'm sure there's rats all over the place, but I just didn't want one.
Just this one, there. You caught this one in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it instantly changed your perspective on this place, which was your favourite place.
Actually, funny enough, so the place I was actually coming from is, there's a friend of mine, he runs security there, and they were having a Mongolian comedy night.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to try and do like a Mongolian accent or language, but like it was basically whatever they'd say in their language, and then everybody laugh.
Genghis Khan.
So like it was fucking mad to watch a comedian of another race in another language do like their stand-up routine. Me not know anything like because I don't speak very good Mongolian, so nah, I wouldn't be great. It wouldn't be up there.
I would have said you were up there with the best Mongols that I ever heard talking. I've never met any Mongolians in Dublin, have I? It seems like a niche, thing to have a Mongolian comedy night.
Yeah, well, I'd say there was about 50 or 60 there last night. Yeah.
That's cool. So I wonder, does your man come from Mongolia? Like, is he a known? Or is it like an open mic thing? You don't know, of course.
Maybe. I don't know, but I wouldn't say there's too many Mongolian comedians in Dublin. So maybe he was doing like a tour, like maybe the UK, maybe a couple of communities or something, and that's the way to do it. And they just hired out this place for.
Yeah, it's cool because I see it as, you know, everyone sees it their way, but I see it as all these cultures coming together. And I was thinking about it recently that I've met a lot of people from different parts, different countries and stuff through my missus, because I think what happens is when people are immigrants, they're more likely to spend time with other immigrants. Like all her friends, she lived in different houses, like different apartments with different roommates, like Italians and Hungarians and Germans and French, all sorts of, and people from Morocco and Turkey, everyone. Like, so I kind of met, I think when you're Irish, you kind of grow up, so far anyway, I think it's going to change as we go on, but you grow up in a state around Irish people, so you don't really get a chance to add more people from the immigrants to your friend group unless they move into the estate, and then the kids will start being friends. But I think as we've grown up so far, we don't really get exposed to different cultures. Whereas I think my son now, like even he's since last week he's been going to. But
he speaks English and German.
He speaks English and German, of course. But my Mrs. has a friend. He's 3. Yeah,
that's savage.
Savage. They're like a sponge. Then they're not thinking about learning it. It's just learned. But he's been going over to. She has an Indian friend, and her daughter has a daughter of a similar age, and they'll be starting school together. So they start hanging out together and going on play dates and stuff. And it's just something I thought is a beautiful, because when you look at people fearing. They see all the videos of immigrants doing bad things, and of course they create that into, that's what the country's in trouble. And I understand that point of view because that's what they've seen. But I just find when you're exposed to people and you see people on a human basis, then you start, the fear drops away and you see that people are human. It's a bit like if I go onto Facebook, you would swear that every sea in the world has shark attacks every day. Because my Facebook, because every time I see a shark attack or something about a shark on Facebook, I click on it, I watch it, I look at the comments. So now if I go on Facebook, every shark, it could be a shark attack from 80 years ago.
The Clive soup.
But to me, the Clive soup. So if my Facebook is telling me that the shark attacks everywhere all the time and I should be worried. And it's the same with immigration. If you're looking at bad things that immigrants do, or any issue, like if you're looking at Palestine, Israel, you're looking at Donald Trump, if you're seeing the bad in things and you're following and you're engaging, that's what you'll keep seeing. And then you can decide if that is the world as it actually is, or just the narrow vision you've kind of painted yourself into. So that's the kind of that's one of a bit of a duality, because I know people who are great people, great family people, loving people, who are in fear now of some of the immigration stuff going on, because they're seeing a lot of videos that are worrying. And they're hearing a lot of stories that are worrying, whereas I don't think. Whereas in my experience, having been exposed to all these immigrants and cultures, I find that everyone's just pretty much the same. Like they're all just humans trying to get on. The cultures are slightly different, and as those cultures come together, that's how the dualities collapse. We become one thing, and people will say,
Drink.
People will say like that this culture is anti-women or anti this or anti that, and I feel like as we'll westernize them as they'll easternize us, and together it'll grow into the next thing, like a more unified world, but it will, of course, there'll be chaos in the meantime.
Good stuff.
So that's just something I've been thinking about lately. So it's not like I can see people's point of view from their point of view, and I just try and step back and look at it from a wider angle if I can.
Folks, we have a lot coming up on the Temple Bar podcast in the coming weeks and months. We have secured our biggest ever guest on the Temple Bar podcast. That will be on the 23rd of November. A very, very world-class WWE former champion wrestler. Probably the biggest of all time, would he be?
He's my biggest of all time anyway. Well, it'll depend on you, subjectively speaking.
We won't say too much, but we're not taking the mick.
We'll say nothing.
And on the 20, is it the, what's your birthday? 22nd of August?
22nd of August.
On the 22nd of August. So we're going to try our best to get a few words out of them, to get a wee miniature podcast out of them. But the keyboard player from the Human League has invited myself and yourself to the gig in the Human League. He's bringing us back.
Oh, yeah.
In Collins Barracks for your
We're VIPs now, lads.
VIPs.
VIPs.
Yeah. So we're going to be with the Human League at their gig.
We're going to see where that goes.
It's in Collins Barracks, I think. It's a big yoke in Collins Barracks they're doing. But so we're going to try and get a few words out of them. So if you have anything to ask either of those people, listen, the wrestler, that'll be well publicised before we do it. Yeah. That's going to be. Yeah. We've been working on that for a long time. If you've been
following the podcast from the start, we've been looking to get a wrestler on for a long time.
And when
we're not starting off small.
No, when this opportunity came up, we were like, I just had to. I was like, yeah.
It's one small step for man. You get it?
Yeah. Oh, that was brilliant.
On to the next thing. I've been reading a book.
That was one of his wrestler names.
I've been reading a book called Hail Mary, which is like it's a sci-fi. It's going to be a sci-fi film, I think. Ryan Gosling or someone is going to be in it. It's going to be released soon, or maybe this summer. I think the book's maybe 10 years old, but it's all about humanity. Like there's something happening to the sun, and how scientists and astronauts have to come together. And then I won't spoil it, but it's a very good thing. So it's got like a big, even from reading the book itself, it's got like it feels to me like a mixture of Alien and Armageddon. And all the lines are very like Ryan Reynoldsy
right.
Yeah, it's very. You can see it being a film even from the book. Like I'm surprised it's taken this long.
It's called Hail Mary.
It's called Hail Mary. I took it because I got a free Audible. Because I downloaded 3 books in a month or something, so I got a free one.
Right. And
I just kept seeing on my YouTube. I kept seeing like I follow all these Bible stories and stuff like that, and I kept seeing things about the Hail Mary going into like the things with the Hail Mary. And then when I went to the Audible, it was Hail Mary, and I knew it's nothing religious at all about it. It's just, so I just clicked it, and I'm really enjoying it. I had a gig an hour away there on Saturday, and I listened to an hour on the way there and an hour on the way back. It was fucking lovely.
Just when you said Hail Mary, have you seen The Butcher Boy?
Yeah.
Did you see Sinead O'Connor's interpretation of the Virgin Mary in the? Do you remember her in The Butcher Boy?
No.
Sinead O'Connor was Our Lady, and
she?
she kept appearing to Francie Brady, the kid.
Oh, yeah, I kind of remember. Yeah.
And like so, The Butcher Boy.
That's a great film.
It's like Eamon Owens.
He's one of the best. Even as a kid, he was one of the best actors.
So Eamon and Kieran was in my class in school. So he was in Angela's Ashes.
Yeah.
The younger brother.
Yeah, yeah.
He was in my class. And Eamon was the Butcher Boy. So the two boys are from
Hello there, Barry.
Jizz, Our Lady. And she'd be like, for fuck's sake, Frankie.
Yeah.
Or for fuck's sake, Francie, don't be making a show of yourself out in the bog. Like,
yeah.
It was just a brilliant, like, for him to play such a twisted character at such a young age. Like, if you go back and watch it, I only watched it there about a year ago again, and I
haven't watched it in a while. I have to watch
oh, I only back and watched it again, and I was like, for that child to play that role,
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah. Talked about how films used to be good and bad, whereas this is like, if you get the narrative where you're following the bad guy around, you start having, like, you want him to win, you know, because the closer you are to it, the more you can forgive.
Oh,
the more, it's like
100%.
family and stuff, like we've talked about, yeah. So we're seeing the funniest things in his head and his psychosis or whatever you want to call it.
When in reality he's out murdering
Yeah,
people.
exactly. Yeah, which is like but he's funny. It's grand. So yeah, that was a great example of that, like how you can take something that's such a serious subject and make it so humorous. Actually, I brought all the older kids to see 28 Years Later there.
Right.
You don't remember 28 Days Later?
Yeah, Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy, brilliant film. And it was actually really good, epic film. But it's going to be a what you call them in America? A franchise.
Okay.
You can tell it's going to be a franchise from the way it ended and stuff. So, but it was that had a lot of that in it as well, like a lot of humor that was kind of buried in the madness. And so that was a great film. And apparently now horror films are doing better than any other film.
So if you look at, I know in the cinema now at the moment, there's a movie called Megan 2.0. It's a horror. That Final Destination one is just gone. The one 28 Days Later. So like, it used to be a case of horror films that pop up just before Halloween, and Christmas films that pop up just before Christmas. Now horror films are year round.
Yeah, there's something to that, because I think I heard someone explain it that they're.
I fucking love horror films.
I like them. I mean, it depends on the film. I like any film that has that draws me in, you know.
Good jumpy ones,
but
like The Ring.
My daughter went to see Megan 2.0 and said it was awful.
All right.
But anyway, I heard someone talking about it. They said that horror films are generally cheaper to make. You can make like one with 20 million budget, whereas all these superhero franchises are like 200 million. And it's hard to make that money back in the cinema.
See, a lot of horror films in the film, it's nighttime. So you're probably saving a fortune on lights.
Yeah. And you can do it in like this 28 Days Later, they have a little set. Like you can just see it or in a film. You can just do it all in one house.
Most horror movies are based around a house.
Yeah. Remember there was the Blair Witch Project?
Yeah.
Someone made that for
A fiver.
yeah. Someone made that for less than the fucking rent at St. James's Gate. And that became a huge hit back in the day. That was a terrifying film.
Yeah.
I remember the first film I ever saw, and I'm from a time, the 80s, where we used to watch all the horror films
Candyman.
when we were 8.
Hellraiser.
That one scared me a bit. Cujo scared me. But
That was the dog.
the dog, yeah.
Yeah.
The one that scared me the most was The Exorcist.
Yeah, that was very
I
scary.
think I watched that when I was 9 or 10. But the thing, and then it came out again. It was re-released when I was maybe 16. And I think that the thing that scares me more about them ones is there is no monster to kill. It's like it's something that can happen to you at any time. This possession. It's like the loss of control.
Poltergeist.
Poltergeist I thought was always good, but it didn't scare me for some reason.
See, I'm younger than you. That would have been like that little.
This house is clear.
She scared the fucking life out of me. Yeah, I didn't like any of that. Like,
Yeah. But the likes of Freddy and Jason and all these gore ones, where it's just some maniac going around killing people, I always found them entertaining.
wait till I tell you this.
Not scary.
I'm fucking gonna. Here's my trauma now. Hold on a minute. Now that we're on the subject, there used to be this fella coming around, and his name was, we called him the Video Van Man.
Oh yeah.
And he'd come to our street, and he had a van. And you opened the back of the van, and there was all these videos, and you got videos off him or whatever.
Hey Chris, come on in and look at my videos.
so he'd only, like, if your mother came out with you, he'd only let you get like at 12.
Yeah.
Right? But if you came out by yourself, and because I'd come out and I'd get Child's Play, I'd get Chucky, or I'd get Carrie, or I'd get Carrie. Carrie was fucking scary.
Good one, yeah.
Because I'd only be like 8 or 9, and I'd get Carrie or Child's Play or Nightmare on Elm Street or one of these, and he'd be like, "Is your mother letting you have that?" He didn't give a fuck. He just wanted the £2.
Yeah,
he didn't care if I said yes or no. He wanted to rent that video for a week. He didn't give a bollock. I just say, yeah, there you go. 8 years of age, into the house with fucking Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah. Well, that's it. We used to watch all them when we were 8, 10. I remember we used to go to my cousins in Clontarf, and they used to get all that's where I saw Cujo. But there was no film my man and dad never let us watch. There was one, and I think we were 11 or 12, and we were watching Pulp Fiction. Was it Pulp Fiction? With me dad, and then there was something about heroin, and my dad goes, "No, you're not watching this." And I was like, "We've been watching people getting murdered like since we were 8 years of age, and here we are 12, and we can't watch anything about heroin." It says, "Fucking hell, Petey." Standards, like.
I don't think we ever. Oh yeah, no. There's a lot about heroin in that. So she overdoses because she snorts the heroin. Yeah,
so that was the, you know, you can watch murder and ripping people to shreds and exorcists and all sorts, dogs killing people, but a bit of herding.
I'll tell you something. That's a great scene actually when he gives her the adrenaline into the heart. And Brona Gallagher from The Commitments is in that scene.
Have you seen John Travolta this week?
No, what did he do?
Did you not see it?
Did he knee someone in the balls?
No.
When he came on the stage at the Grease reunion or something.
He came onto stage, but he looks like he's 35 or something.
But he kneed some man in the balls.
Did he?
When he came on the stage. I think he looks great.
Well,
how did he do that?
I don't think it looks natural, but it doesn't look terribly unnatural, you know? There's something.
I'd be all for the like of that.
I know you would. That's what I was saying. I couldn't believe you hadn't noticed. I couldn't believe it wasn't the first thing you said to me. You're the one that I want. You are the one I want.
But if you watch it, he comes on stage, right? And they had this thing in the scene in Greece where he like needs someone, and your man goes, "Oh," but he actually came on. And you can see a man was like holding himself, like he wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
And he came on, tried to recreate.
Do you want to hear a trauma story?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Give it to me.
That just get me straight in. There was a girl that used to live. We used to hang around when we were playing when we were kids. I don't know, we were 6 or 7, and I never knew that my balls were sensitive or anything like that. I remember her telling me one day, she goes, "Do you know if I kicked you in the balls now, you wouldn't be able to do anything about it, and you'd be on the ground?" And I was like, "What does that mean?" And she booted me as hard as she could in the balls, and I was like, I was 6 or 7, and I went down like a sack of spuds, and that was the first time I ever knew that there was anything about a kick in the balls. Like it came as a complete surprise to me, and it was like an awfully it was traumatic, I suppose, because I can remember the pain to this day.
It still must have jump started something. You don't have 4 kids after that.
It didn't put any kinks in it. Anyway,
she got them going early.
Yeah, that got them strong from an early. Yeah, rising up, back on my feet. You missed the montage.
Right, boys, we're in for a tough life here. We just
yeah. We've been I actually thinking about that now. I wonder if that was a thing that added tension to me, because it was like before that I was like a relaxed kid. I didn't know there was any problem with like exposing having your like, you know, and then to that, I wonder if that added like tension to me back, because I was always thinking it, because that's one of those things that would flash back to me from time to time. I'd be going, oh, I remember just being because I went from being a happy kid to suddenly knowing that there's these things hanging between my legs that in a second can take me down like nothing else. This is strange.
I wonder now if you had like a mad LSD trip.
Yeah.
I wonder would you just see her like as a big giant, like 40 foot in the air, just repeatedly.
Well, funnily enough, speaking of karma, like I remember around that time, or I think it was after that, we used to have fights. Like me and this girl, you know, we were probably in love a bit.
Yeah.
But I remember I threw a brick at her and it hit her, just glanced her head. Like it glanced her head at the time, and she went in crying with a little cut in her head. And I remember being terrified. Like it was like we talked about. I didn't do it. I was a kid, like I was fucking 6 or 7. I just did it like out of anger and didn't think about any consequences. But as soon as it happened, she went in and told her ma, and her ma asked me to come in. And I was like, oh my god. I was like, I'm dead. And the ma brought me in, and I remember the ma was real nice to me and gave me a bar of chocolate and was kind of more given out to her. So in a weird way,
the ma probably saw her kicking you in the balls before that, and she was she fucking deserved that.
I don't think the ma actually saw her kicking me in the balls, because that was in my garden and this was in her garden, which was a bit down the way. But it's funny how, did you ever notice how people are, and I was the same, you're really nice to other people's, your friends, mums and dads, and they're really nice to you, whereas it's a bit like being close to the mirror with your own parents or your own family, it's like you're screaming, shouting abuse, and it's just one of those things. Like, so it was an interesting thing that I threw a brick at her head and she was blaming her more than me.
Imagine if they had it connected.
I know, yeah. Could have been a different story.
It would have altered everyone's lives.
It would have been as it was supposed to be. And even now, looking back, it was as it was.
Maybe.
I said maybe. Have you been following any of the Oasis stuff?
Yeah. So listen, they came out holding hands and all, and they look good. I think I was told that they came on the stage and then they left in separate cars straight away and shit like that.
Oh, that'd be a good idea, I'd say.
Yeah.
You don't want to be living them on top of each other. There's a thing I watch on YouTube called TPD TV. It's like these lads that go to festivals and they do like the festival experience. They stay.
I think you've mentioned them here before.
I've mentioned it before. But they went to the Oasis gigs. They went to the two of them. But they talked about they were staying in a van. And they talked about they went back to the van after the first night's gig and they all fought with each other and had a big falling out. And then the next day they were better. But in a way, it just shows you. Like, imagine doing that if you're on. And they said it's kind of something that happens because around this time of year, they're all in each other's pockets for so long that they end up fighting with each other. And it's obviously the same thing happened in Oasis now.
Oh,
so if we talk about, like, you could meet Liam and Noel and they'd be so grand with each other, but it's when they come together and they're in each other's pockets that the friction builds up.
And you see, they have years of, like, I've got brothers, and, like, they have, like, years of when you're, like, in the same house, like, 3 boys in the same house. Like when we were younger, when we were kids, like, there was killings.
Yeah.
You know, and Liam and Noel still have that, but, like, they're, you know.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it just brings up old wounds, and it's like it's the energy. Like, you know, we're here to. Those people are the ones that, like.
And it wouldn't take much. I'd say, like, if you were on the piss, it'd be like one of them trying to go, do you know what? You were shite at Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it's not what the people what they say to you. It's the weight you give what they say and what you take on yourself, and it suddenly becomes because it's the same with, like, me. I told you, my daughter has this ability to just make me flip on a dime, and she could do or say something that anyone else could do or say, and it wouldn't make any difference to me. But she could do or say the same exact thing, and I would immediately go. Fuck! We've got we're in a good moment at the minute with it where we're getting on quite well, but it's just something that. So it's like the energy comes in a loads of different forms, but it's that energy between two people or the people who are close to you that has the ability to suddenly cause a lot of friction and create an unconscious reaction.
An unconscious reaction. Yeah. Folks, if you're listening to us on Spotify now, will you hit that little bell? There's a little bell on your phone on Spotify. If you just press that little bell, give us a 5-star review if you want. That helps us get into the algorithm and stuff, and follow us. Follow us everywhere. YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, Instagram. We don't really use Facebook that much, but follow us on Facebook anyway. Follow us everywhere.
Yeah, follow us and let us know what you think. Where is the weirdest place you've seen a seagull?
Because yes. Tell us your seagull stories.
Yeah, tell us your seagull stories. Like, are you living in the Midlands? Are you living far away from the sea and started seeing seagulls in recent times, or are we just imagining this from our own?
I know we're not. The whole world's going fucking mad about seagulls. No.
Yeah. So. Tell us your seagull stories. Tell us what you want to hear about in upcoming episodes. Tell us if you have any questions for some of these guests that we've mentioned, if you figured out who they are yet. And get in touch and engage with the podcast, because we want to hear more from you. And the more you tell us what you think, the more we can kind of make it more of a community thing, which is really our goal. So thanks a million for listening. We're nearly at episode 50. Thanks for hanging in there with us.
Thanks for hanging in.
That's it for episode 48.
Stay bold. Sláinte.